Star Trek Into Darkness. To boldly go where no critic has come. Just kidding. Probably gonna be saying stuff that a lot of people are saying. Or not. Let's see. Where do I start? The last J.J. Abrams Star Trek movie was the only Star Trek movie I ever saw. Until this one. This is the second Star Trek movie that I've seen. And while they're the only Star Trek movies that I have seen episodes from the original series and the Next Generation series, so I do have some knowledge of characters from the shows and, you know, the stories involved in them and, you know, the characters' mannerisms and all that. And I've got to say that I think I might have liked Star Trek Into Darkness a little more than the last J.J. Abrams Star Trek film, but it's not without its flaws. I mean, I don't know if I'd say it's a great movie, but you know, it's definitely fun and enjoyable. So we've got Chris Pine back as Captain Jim Kirk. We've got Carl Urban as Bones and Zachary Quinto as Spock, and Zoe Saldana as Uhura. Okay, they're like the main characters. And then we have some new faces. Peter Weller, RoboCop, Benedict Cumberbatch, Sherlock. Anyway, you know, it was pretty predictable what was going on with this movie. From pictures they were releasing of certain things that certain characters were wearing that looked similar to stuff that characters worn in the past, and all that, you know. And as you watch the movie, it's pretty obvious where it's going, but I'm not going to reveal stuff, because this is a spoilerific movie. No doubt about it. So, I'll have a spoiler section. But to start off, we got Benedict Cumberbatch as what appears to be the main villain. He's up to some sinister business. Seems like he has something against Starfleet or the Federation. And so, he attacks like one of their buildings in London. Future, because that's when Star Trek takes place in the future. And yeah, and he appears to be strong. Anyway, Kirk and company are up to the same old. Actually, the opening of the film reminds me of stuff you'd see in the original series. You know, they're on a mission where they're trying to help this planet survive, and the people, the species, the aliens that live on this planet survive. And it was actually kind of weird but interesting opening. And basically Benedict Cumberbatch, he wants to get revenge for something. It appears he's doing something. What? We don't know right away, but as the movie goes along, it starts to get pretty obvious who he really is and what this story is supposed to be, if you know what I mean. Anyway, but I don't really have much to say. The acting was alright. Everybody was pretty much, you know, doing the same thing they did last time. Not that that's a bad thing, it's just, you know, it wasn't completely fresh, but, you know, it was the same kind of thing. You know, they were sort of, some of them were kind of doing impressions of the actors, some of them were kind of taking it in a new direction, which I think Chris Pine was sort of trying to take Kirk in a slightly more arrogant, jerky direction, but at least with the last one. But I think in this one he's much more like the Kirk from the show. Definitely doesn't follow the rules always, but that's Kirk in the show. So, and Zachary Quinto as Spock. This one he starts to feel like for a large part of the movie, like he is, you know, going more towards that Leonard Nimoy Spock until the end, because then he unleashes some emotions. I'm not gonna. I mean, I think you could probably figure that out, you know, towards the climax, that things are going to be very emotional and pretty intense. But so yeah, so overall, was this movie great? Probably not. I mean, Some people have said that there's some logic problems with it. I'll get into that a little with the spoilery section, because it's hard to talk about certain things like the villain in this movie and certain plot elements without spoiling it. I will say I saw Iron Man 3 yesterday, and I enjoyed that a lot more. But Iron Man 3, I felt like it was doing something totally different than the first two Iron Man movies and the Avengers, of course. And as much as I like the Avengers more, Iron Man 3 went in such a different direction. It was like, oh, I didn't expect that. You know, without reviewing that movie right now, I'll just say I like that one more. And you know, okay, Star Trek Into Darkness. What will I give it? I don't know, like an 8.5 out of 10 or something like that. Spoiler section. You guys better watch out. I'm gonna spoil shiz. So anyway, spoilers. Khan! Benedict Cumberbatch plays Khan. Of course, how could you not see it? Okay, while I've never actually seen the movie Wrath of Khan, I know about the ending to that movie. Everybody knows it, even if they haven't seen it. Just like how everybody knows Darth Vader's Luke's father, even if they haven't seen Star Wars, you know. I have seen the episode with Khan from the show, Space Seed, which is one of the better episodes of the original series, I must say. I've never actually seen the Wrath of Khan movie, though. And, yeah, you know, the Benedict Cumberbatch definitely takes Khan in a slightly different direction. He seems a lot more British, for one thing, but that's expected because he is British. You know, he's very... he has this creepiness to him, but there's also some kind of sympathy you have for him. But he's still an asshole. No, I don't like him very much as a person. But you know, some of the stuff with him teaming up with Kirk was pretty cool. But as I was saying, basically the movie is the plot of Space Seed, okay, which is where only slight variation of that. Basically, in the show, if you've seen it, you know, Kirk and company discover Khan and his crew in cryostasis in a ship that they discover that was sent out into space in the 1990s to, you know, after a eugenics war, you know, that Khan and his people were like super soldiers, and Kirk accidentally wakes up Khan, and Khan takes over his ship, which is pretty messed up. I'd hate it if my Enterprise was taken over. Not that I have one. Anyway, but yeah, it's basically the plot, only slightly varied because of the events of the previous J.J. Abrams Star Trek film. You know, Vulcan was destroyed. That sort of triggered the events of the movie to where Peter Weller's character discovers Khan and his crew, and he wants Khan. Now, some people said this was kind of hokey. He wants Khan to make weapons for him. I mean, why would Khan and company, like, you know, do that for him? Like, why would they want to if they think they're superior? But, you know, it was alright. I mean, one of the most criticized things in the movie was Spock yelling Khan, which in Wrath of Khan, I know, I haven't seen the movie, but in Wrath of Khan, Kirk obviously yells that. You know, everybody knows that, and you know, Family Guy references that. So, but like, a lot, you know, they could have done without that. But yeah, the ending is definitely Wrath of Khan, but reversed, with Kirk in Spock's place and Spock in Kirk's place. The action scene at the end, Spock fighting Khan, pretty cool. I like to see Spock using his mind to try to fight Khan as well. Yeah. The end.